I'm Yvette Rogers, Outreach Coordinator for Celtic Colours International Festival. Over the years, I've been so fortunate to travel to almost every corner of Cape Breton Island to work with some remarkable people who help make their communities what they are. This summer, I traveled around the island and met up with some folks along the way. Join me on a road trip and explore some of the unique communities and vibrant cultures that make this beautiful island the home of our hearts. This place has a diverse landscape. From dramatic mountains to soft rolling hills, from calm Barishwa waters to crashing ocean waves. Traveling through the towns and the country roads, it can't be denied. This island has a simple beauty that stirs the hearts of those who have been lucky enough to experience it. This place is now known as Cape Breton Island, but for thousands of years, it was known as Unama'ki. The Mi'kmaq people have been here for millennia, so it is fitting that we begin our journey at the Membertou Heritage Park. I met up with Jeff, the park's general manager, to learn more about the living history of the Mi'kmaq people.
It's important for people to know that we've been here since time immemorial, since the beginning of time, and our legends tell stories about that. And it's amazing that our legends and science are coming together, and they're telling an amazing story when they come together, and they're proving each other correct. Also, it tells a story about Old Kings Road Reserve to the move up here. All First Nation communities. I'd say 99.9% of First Nation communities have been displaced at one time or another. So that tells a story about the rest of the First Nation communities, our Indigenous communities, the Mi'kmaq communities, and the communities right across Turtle Island. And when I talk about Turtle Island, of course, I mean North America. And also, we talk about the great things, the great partnerships that we had here. Because when people came to this land, it was about sharing. We shared the food. We shared the medicines, we shared the land. It was all about sharing because a lot of people were being either chased out of their own country or their own lands, driven away, and they needed a place, and they came here.
Today, the community of Membertou is one of 5 Mi'kmaq communities on Unama'ki.
Membertou is an amazing community, and it's so important to know that Membertou was named after a great leader, Grand Chief Membertou. His statue is here. And we tell the story to honor, and this community is to honor a great chief, a grand chief. Of course, we tell the story about Grand Chief Donald Marshall and Donald Marshall Jr., whose statue is behind us. And that tells a very important story about the injustice that happened to Indigenous people. And also our fishing case, where his fishing case went right to Supreme Court. The Marshall decision in the Sparrow case met at Supreme Court and recognized our fishing rights. And we actually have Donald Marshall Jr.'s eel nets here in our building too.
Beyond exploring the museum's exhibits, there are also opportunities to learn about Mi'kmaq culture through hands-on workshops. By making your own hand drum, you'll learn that the drum represents the heartbeat of the earth, and by balancing the skin over the wood, you acknowledge the balance of all living things. Hear the story of the dream catcher as you make your own. Or walk with a knowledge keeper to learn about medicinal plants and sacred ceremonies. Attend a powwow or mawiomi where people from different regions gather and celebrate, dancing, drumming, and sharing each other's traditions.
History is not taught in the history books. An elder once told me that. He said, it's not history, it's his story. I thought about it. I said, yeah. So it's so important for our communities to have a cultural center or cultural journeys like Niskasoni or the trail in Waigoma and many different communities. Wagamacook has a cultural center, and they tell the story from our perspective, and we don't leave out the history, and it's shared, and it's so important to share, you know? Because an elder asked me one time, what's the opposite of love? I said, hate. And the elder said, no. And it took me back. And I said, I've been taught this all my life. And the elder, she told me, the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. What do people fear? I said, I don't know. She says, exactly. People fear the unknown. You're scared of the boogeyman, you're scared of the dark, you're scared of knowledge you do not have. People are scared of ceremonies, they're scared of our history, and they're scared of that. To come learn about us, who we are as First Nation people. It's important to learn that so we could put down these barriers and we could take away the fear that's in the world today.
Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your time and your knowledge with us today and welcoming us into your community.
It's always a pleasure. In our language, we say apnamoltes, which does not mean goodbye. It means I will see you again.
As I travel throughout this island, I am mindful that this place has a deep, shared history, a story that continues to be told to this day.